Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we are live. Wow. And I'm doing something a little bit different on the channel. No gaming today, I'm so sorry if that's what you wanted. But, today, we are going to be having some fun. Doing... I don't know. Figure it out. Okay. I'm not worried about that. Anyway, today we are here doing some lovely Am I the A-hole content on here. I want to go through and we're going to analyze if they are the a-hole or not. And you can just listen to me talk about it and stuff like that. At the end of each story, I'm going to let you guys vote on if they are or not. But it's kind of all I got today. I wanted more of a chill live stream, and I didn't really want to sit in a chair because I have a standing desk. I paid for a standing desk, so I'm actually going to try to do this standing the entire time. We'll see how I do. If I end up having to take a quick little break to lower the desk, because I need to sit. But, that's about it. How are y'all doing? Hope you guys got your snacks prepared, some drinks prepared. I'm drinking a lovely little Celsius here. And then I got me a protein bar. Why am I drinking Celsius? Because I wanted to be somewhat energetic for this. But I got a bunch of stories up on queue. But if anyone is wanting to suggest any stories, I will, if you comment the name of him, I will also be accepting those as well. Preferably nothing too grotesque, so then I don't get demonetized or anything. But otherwise, I think we are good to go. I've been excited for this. I even started this early, because usually I start somewhat kind of late. But I was like, I want to start early because I can. And there's a high probability, potential probability. Some of these might end up edited and put up on Altaspace main. Just depends how I am feeling. I also do have 2 videos in the works for Altaspace main. So, if you guys aren't subscribed over there, make sure you guys do. Otherwise, I think we're good to go. Shall we? I think we shall. Okay, so pull up the main page over here. I have a bunch of tabs up here. But I didn't want to see how many tabs. I don't want you guys to see how many tabs I have up here. So, I can, if I get too lazy, we don't have to worry about it. But I think let's get into it, shall we? I think we shall. And I also did not read these beforehand. I just saw the title, like, that's kind of interesting. And also tried to make sure I, got a good balance of the ones that were declared, not the, and the a-hole. I can't use the words for another minute, but we'll get there. Okay. First one's up. Am I... Let's wait a few seconds so I can say that I will do. AITA for not inviting my best friend to my apartment welcoming party. Okay. So far, probably. But they did declare not the a-hole, so we'll see. But I mean, if they're actually your best friend, that you should maybe invite them to your party. If they are not your best friend. Or, why are they your best friend if you're not going to invite them to your welcoming party? You know? I don't know. Anyway, I have a friend who literally buys everything I purchase, and then claims she already planned to buy those items. Oh, I could see why. Okay. This has been happening for quite some time now. At first, I thought it was cute that we'd be matching, but it's gotten to the point where I feel like I can't have anything that is just mine. It all started with a pair of Vans. I had asked her to accompany me to the mall for some quick shopping, and I bought myself a pair of black sneaker Vans. About a week later, I saw her wearing the exact same pair. I asked her if she'd always owned those, and she told me no. She saw them at the mall and thought they were cute. Another time, we went shopping for dresses for a friend's party. I bought a long red dress, and she purchased a blue mini dress. when I arrived to the party, she was wearing the same dress as me, down to the exact color. When I confronted her about it, she said the dress she bought didn't fit, so she returned it, and that she didn't even remember I'd gotten the red one. Okay, so far... Okay, the first one is like, you could just said I really liked yours, so I went back and got the same pair. That'd been fine. The second one, I could see you forgetting. But also, like, the difference between, like, red and blue, it's pretty significant, but okay. I recently moved in my new apartment, and I had sent her some pictures of furniture I was considering, asking her for her opinion, as I was going for a cottage feel. She said she liked them, so I went ahead and made the purchases. Not long after, she invited me over to her apartment for a movie night, and I noticed her living area had the exact same items I had shown her. She literally bought the same decorations I told her I was getting, and I was super upset and left early. After I calmed down, I messaged her about consistently copying me, and she told me I was acting like a child. I told my partner about it too, and he agreed with her. He basically said that no one can, quote, own an item and should get over it. I had my apartment warming party yesterday after I just finished decorating, and I didn't invite my friend because I didn't want her getting any more ideas to copy. My boyfriend told me I was being selfish, and now my friend won't talk to me. Am I the asshole? Okay. I'm gonna give some thoughts, and then we can do the poll. Actually, let me do the poll while we story 1. Yes. No. I'll make you guys decide, actually. Okay. My same sentiment is still the same. If they're truly your best friend, why did you not invite them? But I could see absolutely being frustrated about being copied constantly. Now, honestly, kind of thinking about it, I wouldn't call you an a-hole, but I'm also thinking, okay, so this person is buying, already has things, and then is buying the exact things you have. How much money do they have? Is immediately what I'm thinking about. Because it's like, you're having to rebuy. Okay, well, like, the Vans, they had to buy new shoes. The dress, and it's just an exchange, that's fine. Like, for me, it's the furniture where it's like, huh? But honestly, there was one story, happened maybe a year or two now, where this one girl was copying and she faked a picture that she shaved her head. And so she was like, "Oh, you didn't actually shave your head?" And so she had a shaved head the entire time, for a while, which is to me personally very funny and also very vengeful. And I'm like, yes, but I don't know. Maybe I would almost recommend going in that direction, but also that's when you just start showing her things, saying that you like them, and then not actually buying them. And then so she stops doing it. If you're really wanting a way to get out of this. But also, again, it is petty just to not invite someone because you don't want them to not copy you. It just, I don't know. Especially when you say best friend. It's to me where it's like, if you're truly best friends, why would you not just do that? You know what I mean? It's just like, come on. Yeah. Uh-oh. Where'd my screen go? Screen. There we go. I found her. Don't mess with settings. How dare I mess with settings midstream? How dare I? Okay, yeah, but definitely not the asshole. There's a few ways that I would get over it. Either start sending her things and then just not buying them, so she's like, whatever. or just, I don't know, just not be friends with her. That's kind of like what most of these stories are kind of like, just divorce or whatever. But it's like, you don't really have to just divorce her. Just kind of, I don't know, think of some other things you could do. But anyway, I want to see what the comments have to say. Not this person came up as doing a similar idea to what I was talking about earlier. Not the asshole. Try on a wig in an outrageous color. Send her a pic asking for your opinion on the new color. See what happens. Or maybe do it with a temporary tattoo. Oh, well, that's actually a good idea. Not the asshole. While your boyfriend is correct that you can't own a concept like black shoes or, I'm supposed to say, home decor, you have the right idea to not have people in your home for any reason at all. I'd find her behavior tedious and a bit creepy. But then again, I remember when Single White Female came out. So scared to let us, if you know, you know. Regardless, I think his friendship was run out. Her behavior bothers you unless some stellar qualities you haven't mentioned. I'd let this die on its own. That's very fair. I can't remember the acronym for everyone is the asshole here, but I want to use it. 1, your boyfriend is right. You don't have a patent for these. She's welcome to them. That's fair. He's an idiot for not realizing how immature your friend is and siding with her. Also true. She's immature for buying the same things as you multiple times and lying about it. She doesn't realize. She was obviously lying. Are you sure you guys are good friends? Also true. 2 wrongs don't make a right. Why'd you invite her? Because she's not want to copy you? If she did again, you have more proof that she does. Very true. Everyone sucks here. Yeah. Okay. Everyone seems really immature in the story. I hope you'll figure it all out. This isn't giving me best friend vibes. Exactly. You told her you didn't want her copying you. She said you're childish. You banned her from your party, so now I'm getting friend breakup vibes. What your BF thinks has nothing to do with it. You don't want this kind of friend. That's your choice. You don't need your BF to justify your decision. That is so fair. I absolutely love this. I agree with all of it. Okay. Easy. Yeah, next one. Ooh, okay. AITA for not telling my sister I won't be her maid of honor because she didn't come to my wedding due to her dog dying. Ooh. This is a throwaway as my friends know my main. So I, 28 female, got married last year. It was a small but beautiful ceremony with our closest friends and family. My older sister, 32F, and I always had a complicated relationship. We're close, but she's also extremely emotional and kind of dramatic. She was supposed to be my maid of honor. 2 days before my wedding, her 14-year-old dog passed away unexpectedly. I was obviously sympathetic, but she called me sobbing, saying she couldn't emotionally handle coming to the wedding because she was too devastated. I tried to talk her down, even offered to have someone bring her home early if it was too much, but she refused and didn't show up. It hurt a lot. She missed one of the biggest days of my life, and I had no maid of honor. We didn't talk much after that. A few months ago, she got engaged, and last week, she asked me to be her maid of honor. I told her I couldn't. I said I felt hurt. She missed my wedding, and while I love her, I couldn't just pretend like everything was fine. She got extremely upset and said I was being cold and petty, and that her dog was like her child. Our parents are pressuring me just to be a bigger person. I honestly don't know anymore. Am I an asshole for saying no? I wouldn't say you're... Okay, I'm not gonna go slightly against this. You're not the asshole for saying no. You're the asshole for not mending your relationship sooner than this. Because just if you... Oh wait, I forgot to end that poll. Start another one. Story 2. There we go. You're not the a-hole for saying no because you have the right to say no. You're the a-hole for not, one, feeling sympathetic about her dog because so she's 32, 14 years old dog. She got this dog when she was, 18 then? So this dog has been with her basically her entire adult life, pretty much. So this is like a significant relationship. You can't, and she's just like, I don't want to ruin your day. It seems like I'm just not gonna go. Good luck. You're the a-hole for everything leading up to it. The no, you're absolutely allowed to say no. I don't have a problem with her saying no here. I have more of the problem with her not being. She says she was obviously sympathetic, but just truly just be like, make one of your other bridesmaids maid of honor to kind of handle everything during the day, because that's basically what the maid of honor does. It's just handling any mishaps during the day, and then otherwise it's up to her to not go. Like, this is just stupid. Like, just, you're the a-hole for being still upset about it. Does that make sense? Like, your feelings are valid, but it's been over a year. Like, you gotta get over it. Okay. Let's see what's going on. If you're doing it out of spite, then you're the a-hole. If you're sincerely declining because you don't want to uphold all the duties and obligations for being maid of honor, then not the a-hole. It doesn't matter for the reason spite or not. Anyone is allowed to decline being someone's maid of honor without being judged an a-hole for saying no, not the a-hole. Like, that's basically, okay, we're all on the same page. Gently, you're the a-hole. I think she couldn't win, really. She was only 2 days after her dog passed. She wasn't ready. Either she skips your wedding and you're mad at that, or she comes to your wedding, breaks down, and ends up drawing attention, which is really, whether she really intends to or not. You'd probably be even madder about that. The fact that the loss sucks, and disruptive timing sucks too. Okay. We're on the same page here. Me and pink and green fluoride, we're on the same page. Did she comment at all? I don't see that she commented, really. Okay. Again, I don't see her being labeled the a-hole. It's just like, why are you doing what you're doing type thing. Okay, I'll go ahead and end the poll. Make sure you guys get your votes in when we're doing these. Okay. I'm going to set up poll number 3 so you guys can go and start voting. Okay. Story number 3. AITA for booking my own Airbnb so I don't have to sleep on my couch for 6 nights. Or sleep on a couch for 6 nights. My immediate and extended family have booked a vacation for later this summer. My aunt, who found this place, knew the owner, and they had got a great deal. My aunt initially said there was 6 bedrooms. 1 room for her and her husband, my uncle. 1 room for my parents. 1 room for my cousin and her husband. 1 room for my other cousin and his wife. And 1 room for their kids who are both under 10. The last bedroom, I wonder, is where my aunt made the innocent mistake in miscounting. There are only 5 bedrooms. Ah, see. They told me that my boyfriend and I would have to sleep on a couch, a pull-out couch. I told my parents I'd rather not sleep on a couch even if it does pull out. I also don't want to make my boyfriend sleep on a couch with me either for his own privacy. It's in the living room, which is in the middle of everything. I would rather not be woken up by people starting their day, and I would rather not have to change in the bathroom either, and every time, or even leave all my stuff in the living room as well. I don't want to change in my parents' room either, because I know I would probably rush so they would have their own privacy. I don't want to put my luggage in anyone else's room and fill the room with my clutter. Same goes for my boyfriend. I don't want to make him do all that either. My family has never had this big a vacation all together in such a long time. I would love to be involved and what not, but I said I'd rather not go if I didn't have room to myself, or I'll book my own place nearby and I will pay for my part of the main house everyone is in regardless. My mom refused both options. Wow, that's weird. As I will, quote, ruin the trip if I don't stay under the same roof. If I get my own place to stay, it will be solely to sleep. I plan to be with my family at all the times and events. I don't care about the price of only getting an Airbnb just to sleep. I want my privacy. I haven't mentioned it to my cousins or anyone else because I'm considering getting my own place as soon as possible, as close as possible. So, AITH. I'm thinking. No, not really. I mean, yeah, if you have the money to do it, do it. It's your money. It'd be different if you were, like, asking your mom to fork over part of it or something. Or your aunt. But you're not. You only get your own place. And especially if this isn't, like, in the middle of nowhere. And there's houses all over. And you can get one with, like, a 5-minute drive or whatever. Sounds fine to me. I don't see how you could be in the wrong for it. And also, you're still gonna pay for your part in the main house as well. Well, especially when we're using the amenities and stuff like that anyway. I don't see how that's wrong, I guess. Okay. Let's see what the comments have to say. Not the asshole. I would get your own Airbnb. Why can't the kids get the pull-out couch? Are you expected to pay your fair share? What would that be? Is it per family, per person? Like, are you expected to pay the same as all the adults, but the kids get a room? As for mom, how would it ruin the trip? And she feels that way. Is she willing to take the living room? I think not. But your aunt's whole family gets the main rooms. Maybe suggest to mom that she might like to get the Airbnb with you and your boyfriend, where if they need quiet time, they have a place to do so. Mom is probably saying the trip will be ruined because she would be the only ones a part of her part of the family if you do not stay there. You know, that's fair. Give the adults the bedrooms. Versus they're both under 10. Like, they don't, I mean, privacy is privacy, but did they say how long the trip is? No, assuming it's less than a week. For less than a week, they can do that. Heck, especially if they already have to share their own bedrooms and everything anyway. Well, okay, they wouldn't, to me, it would depend if this second bedroom, or like this bedroom that they're sharing, is like bunk beds or like twin beds. Because if it's a bunk bed or twin bed versus the pull-out couch, they would, like, it'd be easier to put the kids in like the bunk bed or twin beds or whatever it is versus having the couple in a shared bed versus trying to have kids share a shared bed. But that's a good thought. Okay. Okay, the person, OP answers, my aunt who has planned / found this place, and the young children are her direct bloodline, so I guess they have the upper hand over me. My mom is sisters with the aunt who booked it, but the young children are my aunt's son, so I guess that trumps my 24 person per person pays. I will be paying the same as adults, but I don't mind still paying to keep the peace, even if I get my own place to sleep. My mom has always been like that, wonderful person, but perfectionist, I guess. She always says how the quote the family has to stick together and crap. I don't know, close with her, but it gets annoying to hear. I would notice how in TA, I notice how they are very quick to try to guilt trip you with, quote, you are ruining the vacation, end quote, but no one else has offered to try to fix this by taking the couch themselves. Go get your nice Airbnb. Why aren't the kids on the couch or in their parents' room? You and BF are sleeping on a pull-out couch? No way. Get your own place. Enjoy sleeping in for real. Comfy bed in a quiet at night house in TA. Okay, she's gotta be staying there. Please do not pay for this house if it has no room for you to stay there. And don't promise to that if you get your own place, you'll only sleep there and spend all your time with your family. It's your vacation too, and you deserve to be comfortable and have fun. You're being way too accommodating. Very fair. Info. Why can't the two young kids take the pull-out couch? Lord knows, but it's not up to me not even bringing it up, as it will be a losing battle. And the rest is still copy and pasted. Not the asshole. First of all, a pull-out sofa should go to the kids who are under 10. WTF? You're adults and need privacy and your own space. Why would they even be asking you to sleep on the sofa when the kids could just sleep there? This is even more true since apparently you're paying for a portion of the family Airbnb. Presumably, the two children are not. If adults are going to be sleeping on the pull-out sofa, it should be your aunt who miscounted their rooms and messed things up. Second, it obviously doesn't ruin anything. And if you and your boyfriend are sleeping under a different roof than the rest of the family, your mother is a drama queen. I love this. It's not really up to her anyway. She can't refuse you staying in a different house if that's what you want to do. Very fair. Forgot to add that I'm 24, boyfriend is 25. Everyone's family is over 30 and under 70, except the two young kids. Yeah. Pretty much it. Like, there's ways you could easily fix this. And I'm assuming, since they haven't said it's two twins, that would have probably been said if it was true. Still. God. Okay. Next story. Actually, I'll go ahead and... 4. Oh, wait. No, I wanted... No, go back. There we go. Triple. Story 4. Triple. Okay. Number 4. Am I the asshole for not letting my neighbor's kid ruin my lawn in the name of imagination? Oh, interesting. Okay, let me get a drink real quick. Dang, okay. I live in a quiet suburban neighborhood with your standard backyard. Grass, a few old trees, a weathered shed, nothing fancy, but I try to keep it tidy. I am on polite but not close terms with most neighbors. We wave, sometimes chat about the weather, and that's about it. There's a family 2 doors down with a boy who's maybe 9 or 10. Lately, he's gone full pirate mode. I mean, fully committed. Eye patch, cardboard, yelling, ye be cursed at squirrels. Honestly, pretty wholesome. At first. Then I started noticing small holes in my yard. Just little ones near the fence. I assumed it was raccoons. But then the holes got bigger. One morning, I went out and found the ground beneath my shed was completely torn up, with clumps of grass tossed around and a quote-unquote map pinned to the tree with a stick. Eventually, I caught him out there mid-dig. I asked him what he was doing. He straight up said, "I'm hiding my treasure. No one must know. This is the perfect hiding spot." I told him calmly, "Hey, this is my yard. You can't dig here." He got a little huffy and ran off. I figured it was the end. Nope. Next day, there was a new hole. Bigger. A tin lunchbox half buried behind the shed. I dig it up. It's full of Pokemon cards, fake jewels, toy coins, and a few crumpled up $5 bills. Hey, at least getting $5 bills, yo. I bring it to his mom and explain what's going on. She immediately gets offensive, no apology, does a heavy sigh, and a, quote, well, he's just using his imagination. I think it's sweet. I told her I didn't mind the creativity, just not in my yard. She rolled her eyes and said, can't you just tell him? Can't you just let them have this? It's not your grass. It's not like your grass is that nice anyway. That one actually stunned me. I said, politely as possible, that I didn't want holes being dug on my property by someone else's kid. I handed over the box and left. That night, she sends a long text telling me I humiliated her son, crushing his imagination, and, quote, created an environment where children aren't safe being children. She said he cried for over an hour and thinks I am, quote, the villain in his story. I didn't reply. I get it. He's a kid. I didn't yell. I didn't shame him. And I even gave him stuff back. But I'm not thrilled about my yard being turned to a sandbox. And getting insulted is not okay. So, am I the a-hole for drawing the line and not entertaining a pirate storyline that involved my backyard getting wrecked? No. The parents need to be responsible for their own kids. I mean, it was one thing if it was like OP had a kid and this kid and they were hanging out and they said no, dig up someone else's yard. That's a little bit different. But it's not your kid. First comment. Not the a-hole. His mom needs to teach him to respect others' property. You don't get to do whatever you want as a kid in the name of, quote, using your imagination. Maybe he still uses his imagination to pretend he has buried the treasure in your yard while actually leaving it intact. I think that would be more constructive use of it. I'm gonna slightly disagree with that. The kid should not be anywhere near his yard. Kid needs to be staying on other yard in their own yard without permission of entering their yard. But anyway. I think it would be more constructive use of it. His mom is on the hook for teaching her kid to channel his creative impulses into productive endeavors and not destructive ones. When he grows up unable to properly establish relationships, he realizes problems stem from the fact that he was never taught to respect others. When that time comes, he'll see that his mom is the actual, quote, villain in the story. Very true. Very, very, very true. Yeah, pretty much everyone else agrees. Not seeing anything really new here. Whether your grass is nice or not, it's your grass. She's raising her kid awfully if she isn't teaching him basic boundaries like respecting others' property. At the a-hole. Yeah. I mean, that's pretty much it. Just stay over there, buddy. We don't need you over here. Stay over there. And that's pretty much it. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna do story number 5. Start poll. Story number 5. Am I the a-hole for telling my friends everything everyone has been afraid to tell her? Probably. Based off of that red thing up there. But also I see that you're 17 years old. I was 17, I was not the brightest. Let me say that at least. Okay. I, 17 female, have a friend who got a new boyfriend a few months ago. Our friend group, 5 girls, was really happy for her at first because he's nice. But it's gotten to the point where they can't be apart for more than 5 minutes. He lives in a different city, yet somehow he's always there. When you're at school, they FaceTime constantly. The moment school ends, he's already waiting at her house. Whenever our friend group hangs out, he's there too. It's gotten really annoying. Let me start there. One, I don't know how they're gonna be able to handle a job if they need to be constantly around each other this much. But also, there's this thing called a honeymoon period. Just gotta go through it. But also, it's like definitely needs some restraint. Being like, yeah. But also, I mean that basically during school. And maybe you don't have to hang out every single day. But otherwise, like when they say our friend group hangs out, he's there too. That's fine. I don't have a problem with that. It's just more of they're at school FaceTiming. And immediately, as soon as school ends, he's waiting at her house. That's a little weird. Friend group hangs out though, that's fine. Maybe as long as maybe he's invited. At least by someone. But anyway. We literally can't be around her without him being there, or at least being mentioned. Oh, so there's times where he's not invited. Well, he's gonna be mentioned. He's the boyfriend. Anyway. And when he's there, she won't even look at us. It's like we're invisible. It's like she's not our friend anymore. Last night, our group planned one of our usual late night hangouts. We meet around 10 p.m. and walk around all night just talking. With 3 hours in, it is obvious that she and her boyfriend were just walking ahead of us, talking only to each other and ignoring the rest of the group. Everyone else kept whispering about how annoyed they were and how mad the situation was making them. I just wasn't enjoying myself at all. I would say just stop inviting her, but then that could potentially, especially as long as it's not like an abusive relationship. If they know it's abusive, no, keep inviting her. But if it becomes a point where it's like, constantly, and like he's doing it, then keep on inviting her. But I mean, I don't know. There's most ways you can handle this, but let's see. Let's keep on going. I asked the girls if they wanted just to leave them, and honestly, I didn't even think they noticed. One girl said yes, but the other two didn't just want to abandon her. Okay, so I left with the one who agreed. We said goodbye, and only then did my friend finally notice for the first time that night. She asked where we were going. I was so annoyed that I just told her we'll talk about it later and left. We went to eat ramen and continued our walk, and honestly, the night was more fun than anything we've done together with her in the past month. The next day, she showed up at my house unannounced, and of course, her boyfriend was with her. She demanded to know why we left, so I told her. Not just about last night, but everyone has been too scared to say. I told her that she and her boyfriend are obsessed with each other. Like, ever since they got together, she doesn't even care about us. That she treats us like we're only there for her convenience, like punching bags when she's mad. That she acts entitled and thinks that just because she's had a rough past, she deserves everything. That's rude. Possessive. She thinks we owe her something just because she's the one that brought us all together. I unloaded everything. She was crying by the time I was done and she left. Okay. If you would have mentioned, hey, we think your boyfriend are obsessed with each other and we would like to actually hang out with you and not just you and your boyfriend, that would be different. It's the fact that it is that plus everything else. I mean, I understand she's upset, but also in like 17-year-old mind, it's just there. But it's also like, come on. Why do you have to do all of that at once? This seems like it needed to be like a one at a time argument. But also, I mean, fair. It's done now, at least. But anyway. But 5 minutes later, she started an argument again in the group chat, which annoyed me even more. So I said all the same things again, but this time I gave examples of every single thing I brought up. She left the group chat after that. Now the other girls are mad at me because some of the examples I gave involved things that she had done to them, not just me. I mean, if you were still involved, you have the right to say it. Now, if it was like girl number 4 said something to you about it and you were not involved at all, that would be a very bad thing. But anyway. I don't know what to think. Am I the a-hole? I don't like how we all complained behind her back, but no one had the guts to say anything to her face. But I felt bad that it made her cry. You're the a-hole for piling everything up at once. If you would have just said, like I said earlier, if you would have just said, hey, we want to be having some you time without the boyfriend. Sometimes with the boyfriend are fine. But like, let's make it, a little bit more often where it's just you. I think that'd be fine. And then go with steps by steps, but also talking behind her back. And just talking behind her back about things about her. It doesn't really make you that good of friends. But in case everyone says. Gentle. You're the a-hole. Hear me out. It sounds like at no point was calm and reasonable discussion had about this. You guys all just sat on this, building resentment until something exploded. That's poor conflict resolution. Also, you really shouldn't have dragged your friends into it. It's their choice whether they bring up the issues they're having with her. You took a choice away from them and essentially put them in the center of a fight they never wanted. Right there. Anyone you know that was calm and reasonable at 17 was breaking it. Okay, so I'm seeing a lot of gentle. You're the a-hole, or everyone sucks here. On the other hand, I totally get where you guys are coming from. I'm 18 female, so we're around the same age, and I've had a friend or two who've gotten boyfriends, and it suddenly feels like you're just a background character, and they're grand romance stories. They've hung out with me and just constantly check their Snapchat, talk to how great their partner is, and nothing else. It can be a bit annoying, and given the context I gave, she's aiming to win the, quote, most change after getting a boyfriend award, lol. It would definitely infuriate me too. And if all the girls in the group are noticing her change in behavior and are actively complaining about it, I'm inclined to believe your depiction of her actions are accurate. Therefore, I definitely think you have/had a right to feel frustrated and forgotten. It's only natural to feel off-put when someone you were so close to with only seems to have their partner in mind, especially when it's like their whole life revolves around the relationship. So yes, I think you had a right to be upset and want to express that. However, I think you could have handled it differently. Kidding me? It could have been handled a lot differently, but okay. While your frustration towards her boyfriend are valid, I think using it as an opportunity to bring up other things you disliked/had a problem with wasn't called for. It honestly sounds like you don't even like her with how you described her. The best thing you could have done would just be politely address the relevant issue on the table, why you left early, rather than bashing her for however long this conversation went on for. There tends to be a respectful way to deliver a point that prevents problems such as like this. Instead of ripping her to shreds, you could have said something like, quote, "It's just a little frustrating how your boyfriend is always around. While I like him and his company, I miss spending time with you alone." I think this was a preventable problem if you and your friends had communicated more effectively. Addressing an issue may be uncomfortable and potentially scary, but it's far better than waiting and letting anger build around until you lash out like you did. Hence, a gentle, everyone sucks here. Yeah. I miss being 17. Everything is so important at 17. Oh, it's so true. Wait, what does it say? You're the a-hole. It's not uncommon for a new couple to want to spend time together. Rather than simply abandoning your friend and walking behind your back, you could have a simple conversation with you. Hey, can I get that? I get that you and X are really happy and want to spend time together. And we are all really happy for you. But I just think we could go out tonight just with the girls. It would be great to spend more time with you. If they say no, then at least you made your point with kindness. Bro, are you for real? It's not uncommon to spend time together. It's uncommon to spend every waking minute together. At the other's place every day, immediately after school, FaceTiming every moment, never being disconnected. People who think that's fine are usually the abusive ones. OP, don't listen to those one. Your friend has no semblance of a healthy relationship. You could have broken it better to them, though. But don't let ones like this fool you thinking that these two have it going on as healthy. Yeah, that is so true. Okay. Definitely getting there. Okay. Solid. I'm gonna take a little bit of a break real quick and go get me another drink, and I will see you guys momentarily. Okay, I am back. Some fun Gatorade here. Went on to the next one. Oh, I gotta put up the poll. Okay. Put on my headphones. This is story 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh wait, whoopsie. Okay. Am I the a-hole for abandoning my best friend after her dad died? Probably. It sounds bad to laugh, but it's like, yeah, probably, especially if you call her your best friend. Yeah. Anyway, I, 23 female, and my best friend, let's call her N, 24 female, have been best friends for over 10 years. We've gone on trips together, have helped each other out when. We've gone on trips together, have helped each other out through some super tough times, and more importantly, have never fought once in our 10 years of friendship. Back at the end of January, N's dad passed away. She called me right away, and I went to her house to spend time with her. When I got to her house, her other friend, L, was also there. For some context, L and N have been friends for about 4 years, and N is constantly venting me about L and how she pushes her boundaries. For example, she'll invite herself over to N's house and overstay. She borrows N's underwear. Ooh, that's weird. Sorry, borrowing underwear? That's weird. Anyway, she constantly has to know where N is and what she's doing. At one point, N was hiding away at my house because she was dealing with some stuff at home and needed to get away from her parents and L. There was a running joke between us that L is secretly in love with her. She's also made it very clear she's jealous of mine and N's friendship. This is relevant to the story. I went to her dad's funeral and told N if she needed anything, she knows how she can reach me. N absolutely hates when people coddle her, so a few days after the funeral, I sent her a quick text reminding her how much I love her and how I'm here if she needs anything. I messaged her again at the beginning of February, again basically reiterating what I said in my first message. She replied in the middle of the month, which was totally okay as I know she's spending much needed time with her mom. I texted her twice in March and again in April. And at the beginning of May, I texted her again. I work 40 hours a week, and I'm in nursing school on full-time on top of that. April was exam season. While I was working all those hours, it was a hard month for me in general. I asked her how Easter was, and she never replied. Pause. If you're best friends, and you're only texting a total of 10 times in 4 months? I'm sorry, what? We must have clearer, different definitions of best friend. Because last time I checked, Best friend? I mean, didn't mean you're talking every single day. But when you text, you at least reply within 24 hours. Like, you know what I mean? Especially if you're best friends, you at least reply within 24 hours. Like, I could see if you miss one and they reiterate and then you text back right away. That's fine. I don't care. But this is ridiculous. You guys are not best friends. I'm sorry. I sent out birthday invites a few days ago, and I texted Anne separately to tell her that if she doesn't feel ready to come out to big social events, I completely understand if she misses out. She responded with a big message how she feels like I've completely abandoned from her life since her dad passed away, and our friendship isn't as strong as she thought it was, and our friendship will never be the same from this. I responded back saying I understood that my messages seemed superficial, but I didn't want to impose on her and my mom on it. I didn't want to impose on her and her mom by asking her to hang out. I told her what was poor judgment on my end. I don't think it is overall a good reflection of our friendship. I showed my boyfriend the message before I could even tell him I thought Elle might have been behind it, and he made the exact same comment. I do think I could have made more of an effort to reach out, but I don't think this is friendship ending, especially after 10 years. I mean, so you went to the funeral. Originally, I was thinking that she just wasn't going to the funeral. And I don't know, you did the right thing by saying, let me know if you need anything, let me reach out. But could she have been a little bit harder on that? Yeah. But I don't think, like, she at least made an effort. So I don't see it as like a, you know, you know what I mean? Like, I don't see it as like this, like, terrible thing. But also, she could have made more of an effort. Like, I could see that she made some of an effort, but she could have made more of an effort. Like, maybe more effort, like, right away. But it said end of January. Probably around February, March. Would have been a good time to, you know, put a little bit more effort in. And it says you texted her twice. And in March, in the middle of April. Does that mean you sent her a text without a response? And then nothing happened? Or was like it had a conversation? Because if it's having a conversation, then yeah, you could have done more. But if it's like, oh, I really text her and didn't get a response, no. I don't exactly agree with the response here, but I'm gonna see what the comments had to say. You're the a-hole. Saying call me if you need me puts the responsibility on her to reach out. You couldn't pick up a phone? After 3 months, you still have a doctor? You should have invited her out to lunch or whatever and let her decide if she was ready or not. A bunch of text seems mindless and uncaring. This has nothing to do with Elle, and everything to do with you dropping the ball. So your best friend of 10 years has her dad die in January, and the most you do till now, May 20th, is send a text message once a month? Big, you're the a-hole. Do you even like your friend? And don't give me the I'm busy at school and work, etc. Because real friends make time. You showed zero effort, plus what you did you showed zero effort, plus what did the other friend have to do with anything? You gave this whole backstory where you talk crap about the other person and just say she might have been behind this. Way to show zero self-reflection. A text message, that's all you could do? I don't understand why you assume Elle has anything behind this. No. It's like, why? Why couldn't you, like, if she's truly your best friend, put more of an effort? Like I said at one comment where it's like, make them have the choice if they're ready. Yeah, I think it's perfectly fair. And maybe not even like go have lunch or whatever. Be like, hey, do you want to watch a movie at your mom's house or whatever, or like wherever they're staying, and be like, hey, do you want to watch a movie and be nice and cozy or something? I don't know. maybe a nice action movie, so there's not really a whole lot of grief in it. I don't know. But like, you get what I mean? Like, there's so many other things I could have done for this. Like, why didn't you do it? Like, come on. It's ridiculous. Okay. On to number 7. I keep on doing that. I keep on typing it in the chat versus making a poll for it. There we go. Okay. This one also has an update, so I'm really excited for it. Okay. I'm really hoping for something good with this one. We'll see. Okay. Am I the a-hole for not sharing the, quote, good tea with a friend? My friend was over visiting. I offered tea. She said yes. She's not much of a tea drinker. She normally drinks cheap herbal tea, which are not actually tea. Anyway, this isn't picky. I, on the other hand, have a cabinet full of teas of various types imported from around the world. I offered her a decent selection: a nice oolong, a nice white tea, a high quality herbal, a good flavored black. She pointed something else in the cabinet and went, "What about that one?" I hesitated and then said it's pretty expensive per I had it imported. And she probably wouldn't like it anyway. She said I'm being stingy and could let her taste it for herself. But Pura is a polarizing tea anyway. The stuff is not cheap at all. And it would be difficult for me to get more of this brand. I know I can make a couple cups from it, but I haven't planning on doing a Pura this week, Pura week right now, and I didn't really want to waste it on someone who wouldn't like it anyway. She doesn't even like a strong black tea. For those not in the know, my family has compared the smell of Pura to fish or dirty socks. I like it a lot, but I understand it's not everyone's thing. Now she's being passive aggressive at me. Am I the a-hole? No, it's your tea. I think if you would have explained that it just has a really terrible smell, I think you could have easily done something with that, but let's see what the comments have to say. She says, "Oh, for fuck's sake, I spend too much time on Reddit. I thought this was going to be about gossip. Despite being a quiet tea drinker myself, I thought this was going to be about gossip. Very fair. Okay. Not the a-hole. Especially since making that particular type of tea for her would mean forcing you to use or waste your whole supply in a short amount of time. Weird that she wasn't happy choosing from the ones you offered. I think she was just kind of nosy at my interesting looking tea cabinet, which I get. But when I visit my fellow tea drinking friends, even if I see something shiny, I generally keep my eyes to myself unless it's offered. Tea can be very expensive. If it had been different tea, I might have given her anyway. I just couldn't bring myself with the Pura. Info: why open the cabinet? Give her choices. You're the host. Choose what you serve. It avoids awkward conversations. The tea was in the cabinet. I opened it and took several options out for her, including a herbal. She looked in the cabinet while I was doing so and asked about the Pura. I hadn't thought to pre-remove the tea from the cabinet so she wouldn't see the other teas, because most people will choose from the provided options. Yeah, I don't see why. Yeah, that's just weird. Oh, I don't know. My friends are automatically entitled to the fancy bottle of whiskey I have in the cabinet. Very fair. Very fair. If you're talking about like whiskey, some of those whiskeys can be expensive, like hundreds of dollars per, and you're talking, like a liter size. Nah. Can we do an update to this? Go on to the update. So I was judged, not the a-hole, on the post, but there was definitely a lot of very lively discussions about tea, tea snobs, and inappropriate nosing in cabinets. I appreciated all the comments. As it happened, about a week after the post, our friend group WhatsApp started talking about, you guessed it, tea. Specifically, somebody went, what do you mean different types of tea? Like verbena? And another friend, not even me, went off about how that's not what real tea. Look, my friends and I agree on important things in life. Also, I'm waiting for people to wonder why we keep talking about tea on our WhatsApp group. It doesn't happen very often, I swear. Anyway, I jumped in and said, how about we have a tea party? And I will let you all try the fancy stuff. So what we did, about 10 friends came, and the original friend who was cruelly denied the good pura. We tried 8 different types of tea, including some variants of the same type, so we could compare the flavors. 2 oolongs, 2 English breakfast. The biggest hit was the chai, lol. And afterwards, some people asked where they could order some of the teas for themselves. As for the friend on the first post, she tried the coveted pura and did not like it. But her heart opened to the, I don't know what that word is. One of my other friends did enjoy the pura though. Everyone had a good time and agreed that we should totally do it again. I'm now sitting here and sipping my 3rd steep of leaves with great satisfaction. I love that. I'm so glad you had a good time with your tea. Puras is something of an acquired taste, haha. I guess major discussion in the original post. Yeah. I had a happy ending, I guess. I mean, not for the person who wanted the tea and tried it and didn't like it, but overall, they're having tea parties now. I love that for them. Good job, good job, good job, good job, good job. Okay. Do another one. Am I the a-hole for not... Am I the a-hole? Actually, I think I'm just gonna go ahead and stop doing these polls. Yeah, okay. Am I the a-hole for refusing to change someone's baby's diaper? My wife and I have been married 10 years and have a few kids. Sister-in-law and her husband have a baby 2 years ago. No major complaints. Just tend to ask people to do stuff that I think they can do themselves. Guessing examples. They'll come over to our house, they live an hour away, and ask ahead of time if we have their kids' favorite crackers on hand. Why don't they just pack the crackers? I don't know. They're well off. Money's not an issue. If one of them leaves the room, they'll ask one of us, my wife or the kids, to be, quote, in charge of the baby, even if the other parent is right there, scrolling on their phone or something. Oh, okay, they didn't know what this is meaning. It's meaning if they have to leave the room to, like, go to the bathroom, they'll have one of the family be in charge of the baby, even if their spouse is just right there. Okay, I get that now. But whenever I say something to my wife, she says I'm being too much. The other day, we're having dinner at mother-in-law's house when the baby has a poopy diaper. Sister-in-law looks at me and says in the sweetest voice, Uncle dear, can you change the diaper? She frequently does this when we're there, but this is the first time I was asked. I answered politely, no, I'm sorry, I don't do that. You don't do diapers? No, I don't do other people's kids' diapers if their mom and dad is around. I mean, if I'm babysitting, sure thing. But if other parents are around, I feel like it's their job. Sister-in-law looks like she's ready to cry. Well, I feel selfish. I smiled to try and set her at ease. Not trying to make you feel any way. Just telling you boundaries all. The table got really awkward as she got up and did the diaper. Afterwards, my wife blamed me for making sister-in-law feel bad and said I could have just changed the diaper. Not trying to make anyone feel bad, but I had 3 kids and always took responsibility. I watched them, I packed for them, and I changed them. I'm not looking to be a secondary parent for this kid. Am I the a-hole? No. They could have, I could see if, they had multiple kids, one kid was being rowdy, one kid had a poopy diaper, and they asked, Like, yeah, I can get away from this kid. See you later. But this is ridiculous. Like, it's your kid. If personal opinion, it's your kid. If you don't think you can take care of the kid on your own, or on your own with your spouse, maybe evaluate having a kid. I mean, at least evaluate it, you know? Okay. Oh, so I refused to request a change. I refused a request to change baby to a diaper because I refused a request to help and made someone cry. Not the a-hole. Your sister-in-law only felt bad because the obvious went out to her. You said no when she asked you, and she pressed further, trying to either guilt you into changing the diaper or make you look bad because she didn't want to change the diaper. Right? She felt guilty and addressed you as uncle. It was supposed to be the onus on you to feel obligated. She sounds such like a user. I think you handled that amazingly well. She sounds like she's not used to anyone saying no to her and setting boundaries. Putting on the tears and, quote, being selfish act is manipulation. It sounds like it worked on your wife, not you. Nothing to feel bad about. She sounds like a wannabe princess. 100% agree. OP handled this well, and he's wise to continue pushing back on their entitlement. Do you have our baby snack? No? Sorry. You'll need to bring some with you. You're into there to show the baby? No. Your wife is right there. They either dial back the entitlement or come over less often. Either way, you win. That sounds like some pretty good ideas there. Love it. Okay. On to the next one. Am I the a-hole for giving my daughter $60 a week, but my son nothing? I could see a universe where it's like, oh, the daughter's doing chores, son's not giving them any money. But otherwise, let's see. I, 45 female, have 2 kids, 17 female and 15 male. We moved earlier this year to be closer to my parents as my parents' health is declining. My daughter was excited about the move, but my son has struggled to adjust. Due to the move, my job shifted to hybrid, and I needed a work-from-home setup. My bedroom is too small, and the only options were the lounge or one of the kids' room during school hours. I proposed this to them. My son flat out refused, but my daughter offered her room and half joked about charging me rent for the space. I thought it was fair, as I get $20 away a day work home allowance. I agreed to give it to her if she was okay with me setting up a small office in her room. I work from 8:30 to 5, and she usually starts homework after I finish, so it all worked out well. Now, the issue. My son is upset about his sister getting $60. I don't do regular allowances, just canteen money, about $10 a week, and other needs as they come up. I told him he had the same opportunity and is now out of luck. He got angry and brought up the move, saying he never see his friends. For the record, I drive them back every 2 weeks for visits. I told him I understand his feeling, but I wouldn't tolerate being spoken to like this. He then started an argument with his sister too, going in on her for being opportunistic, and she called him a whiny little a-hole. To cool off, I offered one of them the option to stay at their grandparents for the night, not as a punishment, but to break tension. My son opted to go, and while dropping him off, my mom told me I was favoring my daughter and should pay them equally. My dad disagreed, saying my son had the chance and was out of luck. Am I the a-hole? Edit to add, the conversation took place over the course of the afternoon. I didn't immediately agree to deal with my daughter. I offered it to my son first, who reiterated, hell no, and get out of my room. I should also mention the reason I have the smallest room is due to the active insulation in the ceiling and floors, making it damp. as we're headed into the winter, I wasn't sending either kid in there. The room also fits a single bed and a set of drawers, with essentially no other space at all. We own the house in Auckland, New Zealand, and I don't have the spare cash to get insulated at the moment, or even fit any of my equipment to work from home in there. Okay. Maybe not $60 a week. Maybe like 20. Like, you don't have to give all 60. Just do $20 a week. I think that's fair. But then also, if you were to offer your son do chores and you would give him also the $20 a week or something like that, like, there's some easy ways you could do that and make it more fair. I don't know, we'll see. Now, the a-hole, this is a real cost to your daughter to be sharing her room. She is giving up some for privacy, likely has to keep things tidier, etc., and generally doesn't get space that fully feels like hers. She decided that it's worth it to her for the $60 a week. It would be extremely unfair if the son got that same money for literally doing nothing. The only way I'd potentially give him some money if the quote-unquote office moved between the two rooms and on alternate ranks or months, depending on how hard it is to put the office set up. He gave up his room. Agreed. Info, why not just switch rooms with your daughter in the office? Okay, yeah, here, explain that. Did your son not know about the rent thing when he asked for the space? I should have mentioned the post, but the character limits got my initial post removed. I did offer out there for the pair of them, but he didn't want to borrow Chef, so the rent was offered. Was there another opportunity for your son to make money as well? Did we get one? Nah, I don't see one here. I don't see her as the complete a-hole, though. Like, I say lessen the money she gets, and then come up with an opportunity, or even just do the 60, but offer him an opportunity to where he could earn money. But also, as a 17-year-old, she needs more money than a 15-year-old, because, I mean, especially if, like, she's driving and things like that. But, yeah. I guess I could see it either way. But I wouldn't exactly call her an a-hole, to be completely honest here. I wouldn't. Like, I don't know, maybe come up with something to where it's like, where he can get the money. But he said no. So, yeah. Next one. Am I the a-hole for refusing to go to my sister's wedding after finding out only our side of the family were having to pay to attend? Ooh. That is very interesting. Because, I mean, I wouldn't maybe refuse to go to the wedding. Maybe refuse to pay. Obligatory. This is a throwaway account clarification. I'm very active in a D&D sub. I don't particularly want it to be tied to the situation. So, my younger sister, Katie, 28 female, and her partner, Chris, 29 male, are getting married in April in Dubai. Wait, so does this mean they have to pay to go? Like, okay, I was imagining this to be more a local wedding. I mean, if his side of the family was comping his side of the family, then I see that as being fine. But we'll find out. Okay. She always wanted an extravagant wedding and is going out all out on this. So the wedding is happening over 4 days. Oh my god. A 4-day wedding. I don't think I can handle a 1-day wedding, let alone 4 days. Okay, there's 70 guests, but they wanted us, me, my husband, and parents to stay in the same hotel with them, along with her bridesmaids, which I am the maid of honor and groomsman. The hotel is pretty luxe, and with flights is costing us over £2,900, yeah, it's pounds, each. Chris's family is also staying in the hotel, which includes his parents, 2 brothers, and his nephew. They're all well off. I don't exactly know how much they earn combined, but Kitty is on 88K and she is the lower earner. But about 6 months ago, Katie and Chris came to us and asked to borrow $17,000 more. They stressed it would be a loan paid over time, and the venue had increased the price. Dubai laws was different, blah blah blah. They paid this money, or they lost a lot. We believed them, and I offered $7K loan, and my parents the other 10. Long story short, since I found out there was someone else that had the 7. Long story short, I have since found out through someone else that 17K wasn't for the venue, it was for Chris's family to fly over there. They saw how much it was going to be, didn't want to pay, and refused to go. I asked Katie, and she confirmed. So my first question was, if they were paying for his parents, why not pay for ours? I would never expect them to pay for me, even if we couldn't afford it. I'd wish them well and stay at home. And her answer was, quote, because they can't afford it. She also got very defensive and said this was the fairest way she could think of doing it. It's hard enough planning a wedding, etc. But when I asked if you generally thought this was the fairest way to do it, why would you lie about the 17K was for, or say it was for the venue issue? She couldn't answer. My parents are aware. Oh, wow, this is long. Okay. I'm gonna lower the desk real quick. You might be able to hear it, you might not. I'm not 100% sure. There we go, much better. Okay. My parents were aware and are very disappointed they lied, but said they are still attending, but I have backed out. To me, it feels like my parents are being taken advantage of, and if they couldn't afford to pay for both our and Chris's parents and his brothers and nephews, they shouldn't have paid for the 4 parents or no one at all. And wait. So they're also paying for his brothers and the nephew? Oh my gosh. Okay. They especially shouldn't have lied about it. Katie and Chris keep calling, asking me to attend, saying I'm making them feel bad, ruining their day. But the whole thing just feels icky to me. I'm genuinely an open book, so be brutal. Am I the a-hole here, or should I just suck it up and go? Edit. Crumbs a lot of the comments, ha ha ha. I just want to answer a couple questions. Comments are coming up. The repayment. My husband's brother is a solicitor, lawyer. So he kindly drew up a contract and repayment plan for both myself and my parents, so the money would be paid off within 12 months of the wedding. If they don't stick to this, I have access to the free solicitor. Haha. I hope it won't come to that, but that's why I have the papers for a worst case scenario. Asking for the 7K back. I might be a soft touch, but asking for this back feels like a step too far. Like, I'm mad as all hell, but not enough to actively try to ruin the wedding a few weeks before, which it feels like, right now at least, is what I would be doing. But hey, give me a few more days to still. Okay, edit number 2. Thanks again for all the feedback, and just another quick FYI. A few people have asked about Chris's family or seem to have the impression they're well off. I'm obviously not privy to their financial situation, but what the limited amount I know is that Katie has said Chris and his family grew up poor. Before all this, I knew, though Chris was a lovely guy, that I had caught him in the odd but harmless white lie. Things like where he grew up to school, what type of house he grew up in, etc. I get the impression he was embarrassed and resentful of his upbringing, given their lack of money, and this is how he now values his own worth by how much his money he has. My guess is when his family said they couldn't go, he panicked and worried people who asked why he wasn't there, and he would rather have say they couldn't afford it, or he couldn't afford to pay them. And look, and his past trauma experience is not for me to judge. But if it were the case, it makes me more mad that they didn't plan ahead and talk to his friends and family about what they could afford before booking Dubai. But it was such a deal breaker for his family to be there, they should have factored in the cost of paying for his parents instead of thrusting $3K a person per person bill at them and expecting them to rock it up. That's fair. Okay. Not the a-hole. Yet one of many reasons I dislike destination weddings. They're the ultimate geocentric events. Yep. I totally get this. We had the destination wedding in Italy as well, TBH. However, before we booked it, we did rough price checks in terms of how much it would cost everyone before we booked it. It actually ended up being cheaper than a lot of places in the UK, but also made a list of who/what we could afford to pay for and who our non-negotiable were in terms of if it could be certain people who couldn't make it/afford it, then we would book somewhere in the UK. It worked out in the end. We had 15 people. We paid for everyone's hotels and flights were about $240 or £240 each, so we counted that as everyone's gift to us as we figured after travel, gifts, etc. It would be far off of what people would pay to attend a local wedding. But I didn't expect Katie to do the same, as I knew she was having 70 people, and at the end of the day, it's her wedding. Wait a second. Not only are they not paying for your parents, they're having your parents pay for his. Like a double whammy. I don't want to lose my sister over this. I don't want to be that person, but who says the French situation? But honestly, it really is. Well, yeah. I mean, they're not the a-hole for just being like, yeah, nah, I'm not dealing this. Yeah. This really is way too messy. I'm out of here. See you later. Okay. Yeah. We do get an update on this one. Let's read it. I had a lot of messages at the time of posting asking for an update on what I decided to do, so I wanted to check in. In short, I didn't end up going to the wedding. Katie and Chris basically harassed me constantly until 2 days before they were due to fly out. I received a belligerent email from Katie saying if I did not go, I wasn't her sister anymore. I was embarrassing myself and her and Chris, and I was a horrible person, and most shockingly, if I didn't go, then her and Chris wouldn't be paying me or my parents back for the money we loaned. So, trying to blackmail me. She said it was a gift. I faked the contract, and I would take her to court. She was clearly drunk at the time. The voicemail was left on the night she was having her at-home hen-do, which I obviously didn't attend. I'm guessing that's like kind of like a bachelorette party. But it was beyond anything I thought she was capable of. I ended up sharing with my parents, and they also reluctantly pulled out of attending. Ooh, sister and parents not attending? That must be hard. I heard their friends and family in attendance at the wedding after her and Chris was telling everyone I had alienated her from her family and told lies to our parents. We gifted money, expected them to pay for us, etc., etc., and they made a decision to uninvite myself and my husband. Ooh. This is just getting messy. Other, more insulting things were said that I don't particularly want to go into. Suffice to say, they were hurtful. That's fair. As I mentioned in my post, I had my brother-in-law, solicitor, draw up a contract for repayment for both myself and my parents. What was supposed to be the first repayment date passed without a word from either of them, so brother-in-law picked up from there. His attempt to reach them was ignored from one email from what I think was a fake law firm outlining the money was quote-unquote gifted. Wait, his attempts to reach them were ignored apart from one email from what I think is a fake law firm outlining the money was quote-unquote gifted. The contract was fraudulent and to take them to court, basically. In response to that, brother-in-law sent a copy of the voicemail Katie had left in a final demand outlining payment was now null and void, and we wanted the money in full within 30 days or we would be going to court. Magically, the amount appeared in our accounts 5 days later. Again, I heard on the grapevine since the wedding They have been telling everyone who would listen that we asked for our quote-unquote gift back out of the blue and disown them, and how much a difficult financial position they're put in because of this. So that's that. I can't see myself having a relationship with her after this, which is devastating, but at the same time, I truly believe now after everything that it isn't my fault. Thanks again to everyone who gave advice. I hope this update is enough for everyone who asked for one. Comments. I'm a petty person. I would upload her messages to all social media sites and tag her, and then so people can see in her own words how she was going to lie about all that. You were not the a-hole, and then you were still not the a-hole. Everyone who has let me know what they've said has my back, and I've called her out on her lies without my needing to fill them in on the situation. She has done enough damage on her own. At this point, I think the best thing I can do is let them dig their own grave and stay silent. I'm sure this marriage will last forever. We'll see. Oh gosh, I love it. Love a good lawsuit. Love a good lawsuit. Okay, on to the next one. Okay. Ooh, this is from a deleted account. Am I the a-hole for making my sister's gender reveal cake gray because she wouldn't tell my gender? Now, how would you expect it to make a gender reveal cake without gender? I mean, you could probably made it like just a normal like gender reveal cake, I guess, with like some blue and pink or whatever, and have it like sliced in half. But I'm assuming a gender reveal cake is supposed to like reveal the gender when you cut it in. Like that's what I'm imagining. But anyway. I, 23, male, bake as a hobby, and I'm actually pretty good at it. Like, I get paid under the table for weddings and baby showers. Kind of good. My sister is pregnant and wanted me to make her a cake for her gender reveal. Cool, no problem. I asked her to send me the info so I could prep the inside classic pink or blue filling. She says, oh, no, I want to be surprised too. Just make it neutral for the reveal, and we'll all find out together. I was like, huh? You want me to make a gender reveal cake with no gender reveal? She says she'll have someone email the info to me later. That someone never did. The deadline comes, and I still have no gender. So I make the cake. It's gray inside, gray outside, just full of cement vibes. I even added little fondant clouds for effect. It still tasted great, but visually, grim as hell. The reveal day comes, they cut into it, and the sister looks upset. Her husband is confused. People start murmuring and she pulls me aside. Why did you make it gray? That's so passive aggressive. Calmly, I reminded her that no one told me the gender. I literally had no data to work with. I told her I wasn't about to guess or go full improv on someone's birthday cake and someone's baby cake. My mom says I embarrassed her in front of the whole family, and I, quote, should have tried harder. Tried harder to do what? Summon the gender vibes? So, am I the a-hole for making the most neutral reveal cake in history? Edit. I did actually follow up, asked her a couple days before the reveal if the info had been sent. She said something like, yes, I'm taking care of it. I figured it'd be handled. I didn't want to pester her, since she seemed chill about it at the time. Like I said, you could have done like a pink, like instead of like a reveal cake, just do like a pink and then open it and be like, oh, nothing's in there. I have the answer. I don't know, like something like that would be kind of cool. But if you don't receive it, you can't do anything about it. I'm confused. Did you not take the opportunity to message as the date was coming closer, tell your sister, hey, I haven't got the gender. Can you check into this? Someone's taking care of it. I figured it was handled. I didn't want the pester, since if she really wanted the gender in the cake, she should have double checked too. I was like, this is something she set up and it didn't come through. Oh, no. Like, there's something weird ways to do that. And also, this poster seems like would be really cute. Like this commenter seems like they kind of got what I'm thinking. Why couldn't you made it yellow or baby themed or something? Especially, it seems pretty vindictive to make your cake a, quote, grim cement vibes for an event where you're supposed to be serving many more people besides your air-haired sister. I understand you're frustrated, but dang. It's all anyone's gonna remember from that event now, which is kind of you're the asshole. Yeah, just make a cake with the theme, baby. Vanilla, chocolate, yellow, red velvet, green, purple elephants, drafts, balloons, toys, building blocks, baby's face. Literally, the possibilities are endless. There was literally no reason to take a passive aggressive jab at your sister on her big day. So, what was the confusion about whether they wanted the cake pink or blue? This is such a passive overreaction to a perceived slight. Grow up. Yeah. Info where you paid for your time and ingredients. OP was not paid for their time or ingredients. Also, they followed up to ask the gender a few days. It was brushed off. Not the a-hole in my opinion. So this was pretty demanding than all the other stuff. Yeah. Gray was a bit harsh, but then respectful. But then be respectful of your family and their donated expertise. This thread is not tiled. Would I do the same thing as OP in a similar situation? Or am I the a-hole? You could equally go with everyone sucks here, but it's a valid judgment. If the OP is spending his time on ingredients and just can't send a simple text with the detail needed to make the free cake, then I'm not really sure what to say. Would I make it gray? No. But do I fault the OP that did? Not really. Yeah. Yeah. Dang. Okay, on to the next one. Am I the a-hole for refusing to sign my parents' house, which is under my name, over to my wife if I die? So here's the backstory. In 2008, my parents lost most of their money, and it got to the point where they could no longer able to afford their house. My dad is quite a bit older than my mom, and his biggest worry is that he is not able to leave her enough to live and pay for a home / rent without having to financially rely on me and my sister. So this is the plan we came up with. We found a house with a large lot and we bought it under my name. My parents put a significant amount of their savings for a down payment for the property to build a detached accessory dwelling unit for them to live in. I don't know what an ADU is. I'm assuming it's kind of the same as like a, not like a almost like a trailer home. I guess what that kind of is. So they bought property, and then they put a house on it. I'll say that, or like they put a second house on it. I lived in the main house for a while. My parents lived in the ADU. The agreement was once I moved out, we would rent out the main house. I would be responsible for the main house, maintenance, repairs, etc. But my parents were responsible for the ADU. We would split any property taxes not covered by the rental of the other property. Okay, so there's two quote unquote houses. We're saying one smaller than the other. Two houses on the property. And so to do this, parents lived there, and once they moved out, rent it, and they would split any taxes not covered by the rental property. Sounds pretty easy. I live in a very expensive area, so my parents will have a place to live the rest of their lives with no stress about becoming homeless, and I end up with a great investment property that I have already quite a bit of equity in. I have the house in a trust. In the event of my untimely death, the ownership of the house will transfer to my parents and then transfer to my partner / offspring once they pass away. My wife wants me to change the trust to have a deed of the property go to her instead of my parents. She says, of course, I will let them live there, but she wants control of the property if I die. I feel really uncomfortable signing over the house of my parents paid to her. Even though it is in my name, I feel even though it's in my name and I'm spending some money on the property taxes and maintenance, I consider it their house since they have paid for everything. Part of the reason I'm still uncomfortable is when we were updating our life insurance policies once we got married, she made sure I removed my parents as beneficiaries and added her on as a 100% beneficiary, but then refused to add me as a beneficiary as her policy and had 100% going to her sister. Am I the a-hole for not refusing to sign the house over to her? Okay. First of all, we're just gonna ignore the life insurance right now. They're living there. Or even make it, I could see a world where you made them 50-50. So you had like 50% ownership go to them, 50% ownership going to the life. But then also having it to where once they die, it immediately goes over to the life. That's fine. Otherwise, everything else is fine. I don't have a problem with anything else. All that seems fine. Not the a-hole. This last section with the life insurance. That seems really fishy. Like, really fishy. Okay. I want to see what the other people are saying. They commented that section. Yeah, that seems like some red flags right there. Like, that's a big one right there. She's covered if you die, but you aren't if she dies. Not the a-hole, but I consider canceling at the minimum. Yeah. Definitely need maybe some couple counseling or something. Or even like, not even just couple counseling, but like some like financial counseling. Sorry, honey, the house is in a trust, but I won't change it. And change the subject. If she brings it up again, rinse and repeat. Not the a-hole, this trust was pre-married, so she gets a squat. If you change it now, the argument could be that she was made during the marriage. Don't. Yeah, that's also true. Technically, it's premarital assets. Interesting. Well, depending on where they live. If it's premarital assets, it would be that he gets all of it, regardless of if it was like a trust or not. But the whole life insurance thing is just like weird. Not the a-hole. Your wife has not paid any money towards the house, has she? Do not sign the house over her, because if something happens to you, who's to say she won't kick your parents out of the ADU? No, she hasn't. In her eyes, she's spending money on it because the money that I'm putting towards the house is taking away money from our family. No. Not how you work. Especially in like today's like situations where you have a lot of like couples or families that have like one joint account and then they have their individual accounts and you just kind of put it all in. I mean, if your entire finances are commingled, I can see the justification, but still. Crazy. On the next one. Am I the a-hole for keeping my son away from my mom because she fed him custard? That is interesting. Like, how old is the son? Like, you know what I mean? Okay. My wife, 30s, and I, also 30s, have a baby boy. Last year, we flew across the country with him to attend a family reunion and visit my parents. Things were going well until my wife caught my mom, 68, trying to feed our baby custard off a spoon, against her two clear rules. No sugar before 1 year old, and no spoon feeding. We're doing whatever BLW is. My wife and mom had discussed feeding boundaries at length for weeks, and our 6-month-old had seen. Okay, so this baby is baby. Okay. Since our son's birth, my mom has increasingly ignored boundaries. The first issue was her demanding photos at 9 a.m. despite our previous ask of no photos requests before 10 a.m. Her reasoning: rules don't apply to grandma. Why does it matter when they demand photos or requests? Like, is it like I must have a photo of the baby? Or is it I must have a photo with the baby? But okay. Since caught with the custard, my wife immediately took our son and left the room upset without saying a word. I stayed behind and asked my mom why she wouldn't ask first, because she said, because I knew you'd say no. I was livid. This shows she not only overrode her parenting decisions, later she tried to brush it off as sarcasm. My mom's sister, who witnessed it, validated my wife's reaction. The next day, we sat our parents down for a talk. My mom initially apologized, but quickly backpedaled, changing details. It was a fork, not a spoon. He reached for it. Things got heated. My dad said we were being harsh, and later, my mom claimed my wife screamed at her. Neither of us remember screaming, but we weren't going to gaslight her. We ended the trip early and pulled back communication. My wife, who had been sending daily photos and videos, stopped completely. Now I send occasional ones. Oh, that's what they mean by photo requests. Okay. So it was like sending a photo. That's stupid then. Go look at the previous photos. Like, I'm sorry, the baby isn't going to change that much in a day. Okay? Hell, in an hour. Like, come on. Okay. We tried working on things. My wife proposed an exercise where they would answer questions about their grandparent expectations, and we would discuss them together. We agreed that they could attend our son's first birthday if we completed the exercise. They agreed. After multiple reschedules due to my wife's postpartum struggles, we finally set a time last minute, but my mom refused to get dressed to be on video, saying I, quote, called every shot so far, and that she just listened off camera. My wife felt slighted and revoked their birthday invitation. My mom later gave a veiled threat and then a different excuse, but the damage was done and we withdrew further. After further reflection and therapy, we told them that we needed them to seek therapy before starting visits. Their response mentioned the, quote, screaming again and uncertainty if, quote, this will work out, but then asked for photos every once in a while. So, since then, I've kept the casual conversation open, but deflect photo and visit requests until they start therapy. So, am I the a-hole for holding this boundary until therapy happens? If my wife is my wife the a-hole for, quote, yelling and revoking the daily photos in response? For context, they were present for his birth and had 2 good visits where my mom respected boundaries, which made this breach feel even more shocking. And it's sure everyone sucks. Like, that is the grandparents. They should have the right to, I don't think they have a right to in their life, but they should have the opportunity to be in their life. In some way. And then, but at the same time, not respecting parenting decisions is something that's like way too far. Ooh, okay. The custard thing is not okay. When a baby eases up to mom and dad, full stop. However, the rest of this sounds like a huge overreaction. Stick with your kid while you're at grandma's. For darn's sake, it's not even nearby. You don't see her all the time. She isn't babysitting. Just keep an eye on your kid while you're all there. Interview to assess their adherence to rules and family therapy for a couple bites of custard. Way off the rails. Everyone's like, your grandma's in the wrong. Your wife needed to take a step back, get some perspective. Relationships with people who love them is important to kids, so much more important than an erroneous bite of custard. Yeah. Yeah, definitely a lot. Dang. Like, part of me feels bad, but also it's like, don't be like, oh, it's a fork. I mean, I'm assuming it's like, I don't know what BLW means still, but it's probably still like, sensory things, so like eat with the hands, I don't know. But, that's ridiculous. Dang, okay. Next one. Give me another drink here. Am I the a-hole for not laughing when my husband joked about my quote-unquote hobby, job, in front of his boss? Throw away because my main is linked with some of my work. My husband was invited to work My husband was invited to this work dinner at his boss's house, and his whole office was invited. My husband has a higher paying job than mine, and it doesn't really bother me because I love what I do, but he does lack interest in my work because of it. The first iffy thing was when we were getting ready, he gave me a quote unquote check or something that where he gave me the rundown of dinner etiquette. I know dinner etiquette. My parents used to host this kind of dinners all the time, so yeah, I know how to act and how to behave. All his coworkers were going to the dinner and they brought their wives with them, so it was pretty packed. Dinner was nice until we were in the desserts portions. My husband's coworkers started talking about their wives and their hobbies. My husband brought up my quote unquote hobby. I'm a journalist and I write stuff once in a while. He talked about some of the stuff I've written, describing it as quote unquote silly. I didn't say anything, it smiled awkwardly, but he just kept going. He said he doesn't read my stuff because he, quote, doesn't want to be all up in my head. I mean, okay, I understand if you don't read every single thing she writes. Don't get me wrong. Especially if she's actually, like, being a journalist. She's probably writing a few stories a week. Depending on, like, how active, like, whatever she's writing for is, like, whatever company. Like, if she's, like, writing New York Times, probably writing, a little bit more than, like a smaller thing. It doesn't really matter. But it's, like, I understand we don't read every single story, but you should at least read one of them. Like, come on. When we get home, I talked to him about his jokes, and I said I didn't find them funny, but rather somewhat offensive and disrespectful towards my work. He told me to learn how to take a joke. I tried to ignore it, so I kept doing my thing, but then he started getting handsy, and I rejected his advances because I was still sour about dinner, and he got upset, so we went on and on about the dinner thing. I wasn't even addressing him making fun of me. I was genuinely upset over the hobby thing. Because it's not a hobby. It's my line of work, which I love and I'm very passionate about. He admitted to maybe being in the wrong for the jokes and that they were, quote, based on fact. I grew up significantly wealthier than him. I do not leech off my parents, nor do they send me money out of free will. My parents never said or done anything to make him feel inferior, and they get along very well. We met when I was going through some sort of hippie phase. I wasn't talking to my parents, nor did I get along well with them at the time. I was some manic pixie dream girl at the time, and I think he got way too attached to that version of me. I was 25. I'm 32 now. He called me dull and compared me to my mom, which isn't bad on itself, but he said it was an insult and I was becoming a suburban mom. We have a son. He's 2. I feel like he doesn't really appreciate me as a person or care about me as much as a husband should for his wife. I get what he's saying, but I'm getting older, I'm a mom, I'm advancing in my career, and I have a lot on my plate apart from that. I do love my husband. I'm married and started a family with him for a reason, but maybe I took the joke too seriously. I'm not sure if I blew out a portion because I asked friends and they said maybe I took it too seriously, etc., etc. Am I the a-hole? No. Like, if he's willing to disrespect you like that to your face, imagine what he's saying when you're not around. Like, you get what I mean? Like, there's so much more he could be saying that you're just not hearing. So if you're hearing this, what else is he saying about you? I'm curious what everyone else has said. Not the a-hole, but here's some brutal honesty. You may love your husband, but he either doesn't love you or is embarrassed of you. He isn't insecure. He's an outright a-hole. Telling you you're dull, complaining that you're being a mother instead of whatever he thinks you should be, treating you like you're stupid. The joke is just another in a long line of him abusing you mentally because he isn't happy. So why should you be? I am sorry, but the moment anyone treated me like that, I would walk out. Love is great only as long as you both feel it and respect the other person. He does not respect you. Preach. If it isn't stopped now, if the boundary isn't put up with some strong consequences, then he will continue on this way. He will teach your child one of two things. one, to treat you this way, that you are stupid, that he will treat a future spouse or partner this way, that this kind of thing's acceptable, or he will treat your son this way, make fun of him, don't care about how he makes him feel, how it will make him look in front of others. He will put him down, beat him down, because a child will think it's their fault. They deserve it. They are bad. Gosh. Crazy. I really hope... Wait, is there an update for this? Update? Wait, what? No. No. I see you posted one. No, it's so sad. It's worse because I know there is one. But I got deleted. How sad. That's so sad. Okay. If we ever get the update for this one, I will happily go back and read it. Okay. I really hope she got out of there. Hear me out. Next one. Am I the a-hole for kicking a family out of our condominium pool just because they don't live here? Yeah. As someone who lives in an area where like we have like all of our like apartments and everything, and then there's like multiple pools. Unless they're paying to use that pool, they shouldn't get to use it. But anyway, I guess the only way I could see is like if like they're like friends of someone that lives there. But anyway, I was enjoying a coffee poolside at our pool on a Sunday morning. A mother and her 2 kids arrived and clearly was not residents because they drove up with all their pool stuff in the car and changed into bathing suits in the bathroom. A resident would just walk there. The association isn't that big. It would have changed their unit. It's been almost 100 degrees for a week. The kids jumped in the pool and started splashing around, having a great time. Yeah, they were nosy, but they were just being kids. I started thinking about what if all the kids from surrounding apartment buildings, they don't have pools, started using our pool. Was I the a-hole for reading the sign that said residents only and making them leave? After all, they weren't really harming anything. The kids were so disappointed that I made them leave and they started crying. It had been so hot and I'm sure the pool was a giant relief. We pay for the pool, plus if they got injured, they would sue the association. If word got out that anyone could swim in our pool, anyone would. And before you go there, everyone in the story is the same race. Whoa. I wasn't even thinking about race. Dang. I could see you asking. Or okay, let me phrase that. If the pool was busy, I'd be like, yeah, now get out. But if like literally no one's using it, but also you're not paying for it, just especially with a lot of those places that have like, because I'm assuming if they're in a condominium, how do we say that? It's a big city, or like bigger than I'd say at least a few 100,000, right? So then there's probably like a local pool they could go to and pay some money for it. Like, that wouldn't be that bad. Or even have like a city pool or something. I don't know. Not the whole, but in the future you probably want to inform property management, let them handle it. You aren't paid to be the police, and never knows how folks are going to react to such things. Is property management available on a Sunday morning though? I'm confused with the HOA hasn't already installed a locking gate around the and whose keys only provided the residents, but yeah, no one wants to be the police. Yeah. They're not the a-hole for saying it, but also it's not your job. I don't know. Definitely could have done it in a better way, that's for sure. But that's about it. Really. Okay. A few more stories here. Am I the a-hole for reminding my friend he makes 8 times more than me? Background. My job doesn't really pay the best, but I love the work. I obviously would like to be paid more, I was listening. I was a listening ear to my friend a few years ago when he was looking for jobs. I heard all of I heard him list all the pros and cons for each option, including salary. So I know his starting pay for the one that he settled on is literally 8 times more than my annual salary. Our friendship is not influenced at all by salary differences. We always split the bill, never pay for each other's except birthdays, of which has worked well. I even house sit, he has a cat, for him for free when he's away. Now that he's settled into his job, a job that will probably have until retirement, he has been complaining about it to me more and more. I listen, but I cannot say I completely sympathize, mainly because I know I would happily deal with more of those problems if I got paid like him. He definitely is aware of how little I get paid because he has tried to help me look for new jobs, and I've commented on if the job's paid more or less than my current salary. We do not work in the same fields. The incident. We were hanging out. We discussed about wanting to go to a particular thing on a weekday/workday. I brought up about how my job is pretty flexible and I can be available after a certain time. He says, "Wow, you are so lucky. I could never." Then we kept discussing this thing and he kept reiterating how lucky I was and how he sucks that he can't. I eventually got annoyed and said, "Dude, you literally make 8 times more than me. How could you say that? Would you say that to an unemployed person? You were so lucky to have free time?" After that, things get awkward. He hasn't messaged me. Am I the a-hole for reminding him of that? Edit, by 8 times, I mean if I was making $30,000 a year, he's making $240,000 a year. Edit, my job isn't sunshine and rainbows. People who do exactly what I do have been actively trying to unionize. I just choose to look on the bright side, but there are lots of complaints on my job. Also, it is not as flexible as contractors are perceiving it is. The flexibility comes from my good relationship with the boss, which I had to work super hard to cultivate in the first few years, and coming in on the weekends to make up for the work. Edit 3. Although commenters are asking and assuming, I will not disclose my salary for many reasons. I want the emphasis on disparity. 8 times is a lot. Most people aren't friends with people who make that many times more than them. If I'm on minimum wage, then he is quote unquote comfortable. And if I am quote unquote comfortable, then he is a millionaire. Yeah, that's true. The action is saying to the friend and reminding him he makes 8 times more. Mm, I wouldn't even. I said I think he's. I think he's a light year the asshole because of the way he says it. I think if he were to at least even start it with saying, I don't know, like even being like, "Yeah, we're both employed. Look how lucky we are," or something like that, and then going into it if he keeps on re-saying it. I don't know. Like there's some other ways you could potentially say it. Oh. Um. Did we get one? Yeah. Okay. Okay. We're just gonna leave that one. Okay. Um. Yeah. That's really much about it. Because I mean, it doesn't even matter about the money. It's just have some decency about, dude, you are making so much more than me. We both have it kind of lucky, Like there's some ways of like equating. I don't know. I don't call him an a-hole, but it's just like you could have worded it differently. I don't know. Okay, like a few more here. Am I the a-hole for not letting my daughter's husband see her after birth? Interesting. I, 47 female, have a daughter, 24 female, named Layla, who gave birth to her first child. I don't know much, but I know that she and her husband, Matt, 27 male, have been having issues on what to name their child. Matt wants to have their baby a ridiculous name, which I won't specify the name, but it's a month. And not something like June, May, or April. Something like October with a middle name that's a color. And once again, not something like Violet or Scarlet. Meanwhile, Layla wants a more practical name. Because of all this, they have been in marriage counseling, which hasn't seemed to work. A week ago, Layla gave birth, but had to stay hospitalized because of complications. Right after her birth, she was very out of it and wasn't in her right mind. Matt took advantage of this when I asked him what they were going to name the baby, he stated the name he wanted. I knew Layla wouldn't want this, and that it was supposed to be a joint decision, so I didn't allow him to sign anything, which resulted in him not being able to legally sign off as her father. When Layla woke up, she thanked me for it, but Matt has been refusing to see their baby. What was supposed to be a beautiful phase in their life has been spoiled by his family bombarding her with texts and calls. Now I'm trying to think I may have gone too far since he hasn't seen the baby in weeks. Am I the a-hole? To be clear, Matt was hours away at the time of Layla's birth. I asked him what they were going to name the baby on call. When I heard his response, I didn't tell him which hospital we were at, so he had no way of coming in and signing anything. That makes more sense. I was mildly confused what was happening. Okay. There are two issues here that people are focusing on. One, OP didn't tell the father where the hospital was, so he could not sign any paperwork. Two, OP's daughter was medically incapacitated and was unable to inert her own rights after birth, and her husband was planning on taking advantage of that to name the baby something she was firmly refused. Both these are big issues, and I can see some sympathy for a father missing out on his child's birth, but the fact that he planned to take advantage of his wife at her most vulnerable moment was just to get his way was frankly disgusting. Had he not done that, OP would have told him the hospital they were at, and the paperwork would have already been done. This seems like the case of the father facing repercussions of his own actions. He could have just acted with integrity and waited for his wife to recover, decide the name, and also, where is his concern for his wife in all this? He first thought it was not worry about her condition, but to win a point on the baby's name. And now he's pouting and refuses to see her? What a child. We don't have all the information, but overall, I'm with OP on this one. Everyone sucks here to not the asshole. But if it were my daughter, I'd probably do the same. Yeah. Especially if he's an hours away. It's like, I'm not telling you. It's like, I don't know. It's a lot of weird ones here, that's for sure. But definitely, I would definitely be on the mother's side here. Because it's like, has no concern over Layla at all. And is also not there. Like, regardless of having issues, I don't know about you, but I would be there for the child's birth. Even if I sat in, like, for me, it's like, if I was in his position, even if we were fighting, I would still be there for the birth. Even if it was just me having headphones in and just sitting in a corner. Just to be there for my daughter's birth. Or child's birth, whatever it is. Whatever the baby is. Do no gender. Or sex. No. But anyway. I don't know. It's like, even if we're fighting, I would at least ask to be there and stay out of the way. But, yeah, nah. Just try to win that. Nah. You know who's the a-hole? The daughter's husband. That's all I gotta say. See you later. Okay. Oh. This one's kind of weird. Okay. Am I the a-hole for breaking up with my girlfriend after she refused to go on a nice date I planned because it was on a Wednesday? That's a good question. I, 27 male, recently hit a small parlay win and decided to do something special with it for my girlfriend, 25 female. We've been on together for almost a year, and things have been good, but she always says she wants me to plan more thoughtful dates. So I booked us a reservation at this really nice restaurant she always talks about. Hard to get into. Amazing chef. I spent $800 total on the reservation, drinks included. It was for a Wednesday night because it was the only time I could get the table. I told her it would be a surprise when I finally revealed the plan. She looked disappointed. She said Wednesday was a bad day for her. She has to work early the next morning, and she would rather do something on a Friday or Saturday. She said she would rather do a, quote, multi-event thing like dinner than a show and a bar hopping, and asked if I could cancel or reschedule. I explained that it was a special reservation and the timing could not be moved, so that I could not afford to do something like this without the parlay win. She said she'd appreciate the gesture, but would rather do something else on a weekend. No compromise. No, let's make it work. Just flat out no. That made me feel like nothing I could ever do was enough. Like it was more about the vibe than the effort. So I told her if the she reacts and I try to do something special, then maybe we're not right together. So I end it. Now my friends say I overreacted, and I'm low-key thinking I might have. And with a-hole for walking away over this. You're the a-hole? Because you didn't ask her before spending $800 on this. If the day was okay for her. Like, it can still be a surprise to her. But you have to at least be like, hey, would this Wednesday night be okay? And also, breaking up over this is stupid. Well, honestly, it seems like there was a lot of other things going on. And you probably needed some help there, so I'm not really worried about you. But you're definitely an a-hole for booking $800 for reservation before confirming the date was okay. But, I mean, don't let the thing go to waste. You should at least, spend it on someone. Like, take your mom, or sister, or an aunt or something, I don't know. Or even a male relative, I don't know. Have fun. Don't let it go to waste, at least. But yeah, that's our last story we got going on here today. I hope you all did enjoy this amazing 2-hour live stream. Dang, I can't believe I talked for that long. I hope you guys did enjoy. Make sure to have a like down below, subscribe, etc. It is YouTube, and I shall see you next time. Bye, guys.